I think that day you even replied to one of my messages. How I asked you, there was another brother that messaged me. So people
Mm-hmm.
are asking me. I don't know. I'm not so alama. I'm not no alama that gonna ask that gonna know these questions, right? So I was like, okay, inshallah. I was like, one day I wanted to always do this with you. I'm like, one day
Mm-hmm.
with Bilal Bhai, because Bilal Bhai's experience, he has the knowledge, and obviously the most important thing, he's
So,
also married, and he
mind
grew
you,
up
I
here.
only have experience with one wife, so I can only talk about
Alhamdulillah,
that.
alhamdulillah. No, because it's more relatable. Because like the thing is,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
alhamdulillah,
I know what you
like
mean.
I feel like people are more embarrassed to ask uncle and everything. But like
Yeah,
when there's a brother like them, they can understand the things in a different, like in a bit more optimistic and better way. So
fair enough.
it's like when it comes to the part of like knowing when you're ready for marriage, how do you figure out that? Because for you, how did you figure out the time at that, like when you were in your life, that okay, now I'm ready for marriage, or you know
Um, Actually, that's actually a really good question. So there are things that people believe about themselves that makes them feel that they're ready for something, right? And I'm sure the ones who know, they know, right? When they know they're ready to go out and hang out, they know, they prepare for it, right? When they know they want to go and let's say organize like a dinner or something, they know they're
Yeah.
ready for it, right? They
Yes.
do something in order to get ready for that thing, right?
Yes.
But sometimes I also want to throw this out there. Sometimes people think they're ready, but in reality, when you ask the people that are closest to them, I'm not talking about no friends, I'm not talking about no day ones. I'm talking about the people that are closest to you, the ones that will be there even when your closest friends won't be there, and that's your
Mhm.
family. So if your family thinks that you are responsible, if your family feels that you're contributing, if your family is what your priority is, then you're ready, right?
Ready. Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
Sometimes, in some cases, of course, families, I mean, I'm Pakistani, right? So, with most Pakistani families, you're never ready. You know what I mean? You're always immature, you're always a child, right? So I get that. But uh, how do you know was that the question? How do you know you're ready?
yeah. How do you know you're yeah?
How do you know you're ready? So what I would say is something that I started doing. So I had a phase where I was like, just freshly out of my jahiliyyah phase. I'm like, Mom, Dad, I want to get married. My dad looked at me, started laughing, right? He's like, look at you, look at you. He's like, you want to get married? Look, like, what? Okay, he's like, go study, go finish university, go to college, go to that. I'm like, listen, Dad, I don't want to. I'm like, Dad, you don't know what's out there. He's like, you think I'm a kid? I didn't live through life. I know what's out there too. I'm like, no, Dad, you brought us here. The fitna for you is crazy. He's like, oh, you're gonna lecture me about fitna. I'm like, okay, no, 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 it's not what I mean. But like, so we got into like, a lot of back and forth with mom and dad. But then I realized that while I was going through this, arguments with the parents about, how they should allow me to get married and, move on because I want to move away from all this fitna and whatnot, I realized that I was in my phase of now in hindsight, now when I look back, I realized that was my phase of immaturity. So
Maturity.
I was thinking I'm ready,
Yeah.
right? I felt like I was ready, but my
Hmm.
parents knew that I wasn't ready. Why? Because I failed to even respect them in the arguments, which was halal. Like I was seeking a halal alternative. Like I didn't want to
Yeah.
have a girlfriend, I wanted to have a wife, right?
Wife. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
even the way I was approaching it, I was not respectful to the ones who gave after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who gave me life, right?
Yes.
So, how do you know you're ready? Is when you change your perspective and you give respect, number one, to Allah, right, to the Rasul,
So, so,
Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and then your parents.
Yes.
When you do that, right, then you will feel like you are ready. Like inside, something will change, right?
Hmm.
And then it depends, right? For different people, it's different advices. So I don't. It's kind of like general advice right now,
Hmm.
but some people, when they take more responsibility at home, right, they start contributing at home, maybe then they're ready. For somebody, when they improve their relationship with their mother or their father, if it's a broken relationship, then they're ready, right?
Hmm.
Because you cannot start, don't tell me, I don't want anybody to say this, oh, I want to start a relationship with a third person, when the two people in your house, the two treasures in your house, the relationship with them is broken. You can't go. Don't tell me you want to start a relationship with some girl when the halal way, I want to go married, then I want to do this, or it's hijabi, is this. No, 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 no. That's all good and dandy. It's all good. But
Hmm.
fix the relationship with the parents first if you want khair there.
Yeah.
Because you cannot bring life, right? You cannot bring life into any relationship if the relationships you already have are dead.
Did and like that's subhanallah, that's very true, you know, like you have to work on the fundamentals before you get to that stage.
Yeah,
Now let's say if someone has already worked on the fundamentals, but
mashallah.
and he's on his deen, mashallah, that his manners is up top, you know, everything is mashallah good going for him. But an instance comes now, like, you know, he's going to yani, okay fine, he may be at college. I'm gonna give you different scenarios. He may be at
Right.
college, he may be at uni, he may not be even going to any post-secondary, he may be just going to the masjids, you know, like brothers, they go to the masjids, they have a connection with the community, and sometimes they may see, you know, a sister they like. Sometimes even with the brothers in university, they're part of the, you know, whatever MSA, or you know, they're going to the prayer room, they're opening the door, they see a sister and they lower their gaze. They're not obviously looking at her pervertically, but
Mhm.
they're like, okay, you know, I feel like, you know, subhanallah, this sister, you know, she's good on her deen, whatever, how, I don't know how brothers think like that, you know. but but you know, these feelings, if one gets right, or these thoughts, if one gets, I know I gave you two different scenarios. College and university are kind of different than, you know, just going to the local masjid, right, and seeing somebody there. If a person is getting this right, and like, you know, these feelings, and he's like, okay, and sometimes some brothers, they let me know that these feelings, they kind of wear them down, because it's just one after the other, like one scenario after the other, you know. What would your advice be to that, you know, that,
So one of the things is, this isn't very normal, right? And which is why, um, we call it controversial or whatnot, but it's a fact of our
mm-hmm.
deen that getting married early is encouraged,
Yes.
right? If you can do that, then you fast. I mean, not in the month of Ramadan because you already have to fast, but like you fast in the days when you feel the urge, right?
Yes.
Now, here's the thing. Um, in reality, right? Being a father of three children, alhamdulillah,
MashaAllah,
two
subhanAllah.
of them are girls, and somebody
MashaAllah.
who has taken somebody's daughter as well, right, in marriage. I know that no matter how somebody feels, um, sorry, maybe I'm digressing. Let's go back to like the guy who gets these urges and whatnot. It depends. So when you get this feeling, or when you get this urge that, that I need to move on with life and to take this to the next level, right? As a young practicing Muslim, what you could do is consciously start making dua, right? Consciously. So every time you see something, or you feel something, or you see someone, and you know that you need to move this to the next step,
Mm-hmm.
right away plant that seed, right? That seed of the thought, because it all has, the good and the bad happens here
Yes.
first.
Yes.
The thought, right? So
100%.
if you have a good thought, because let's pause, right? This brother, mashallah, he's practicing, you mentioned. This brother is not on the street. He's in college or university. He's not selling drugs on the street, right? He's not a low lifer, right?
Alhamdulillah,
This
yeah.
brother, alhamdulillah, he has good friends who he's reaching out to, right? He's not talking to some next person, for advice. He's talking to somebody he trusts, somebody who's probably like-minded, also a practicing Muslim. So
Mm-hmm.
if this person is doing all of this, right, and the thought of moving on in the halal way comes to this person's mind, or the thought of that girl is beautiful, she's practicing, I need to, like, how do I approach the situation, right? Comes into the mind. Right away, what you need to do, that person needs to do, is to make dua for themselves, build the connection. What you do is you build that instant connection, instant message Allah,
Mm-hmm.
right, through your dua. And I don't want this to be too cliche or whatnot, but what happens is, the moment you have that thought, if you connect with your Rabb, who is Al Alim, who is As Samir, right? Al Alim, the all knowing, As Samir, the all hearing, right? Al Hakim, the most wise, right? And Al Qadir, the one who is able to do everything.
Everything.
Inna Allah
Yes.
ala kulli shay'in qadir.
Qadir. Yes.
Indeed, Allah is capable of doing everything, right? If you truly,
100%.
and the thing is, we need to, and I'm gonna, this is going into another topic, but if you believe in the names, so we're assuming this person is practicing, right? So he knows the names of Allah. Allah, if you don't know the names of Allah, reach out to somebody who can teach it to you,
Yes, yes,
or
yes.
teach
Very,
yourself these names, right?
very
And then what
important.
you do is you start embodying the understanding of these names. Wallahi, from there on, every single time you're urged to to approach this person or do whatever you need to do, right, in terms of the halal way, you say, "Oh Allah, you know my heart. Oh Allah, you know that I like this person. Oh Allah, you know what I'm feeling. You know that I've been curbing my feeling. I'm not like those other kids outside who are easily going and getting a girlfriend. You know that I'm not sliding into nobody's DMs. Oh Allah, you know that I'm not doing that. I am going to school. I am studying. I'm being obedient. I'm praying salah on time. Oh Allah, I'm doing my fast. Ya Allah, I'm doing my qiyam. Ya Allah. Like, don't be shy. Don't be
Yes,
shy
yes.
in front of your Rabb. Reach out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The same way people get emotional and and whatnot, in privacy with the girl
Privacy.
or whatnot,
Yes.
do that with Allah.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Let Allah know your feelings deep down inside. Wallahi, right? Most people who might hear this, they don't know me, but as a person who's experienced this, who's tasted this, if you reach out to Allah in your most emotional state, I guarantee you, and the guarantee of many Muslims, right? And the guarantee of Rasulullah and the book that we hold so dearly, which is the Quran, is that Allah will answer your du'as in a way that you will not imagine.
Not imagine. Yes.
So
So,
this is one practical step. I know it's cliche, right? But if you people want to do something more, is again, you backtrack, right? See if your relationships are perfect at home. You're improving all that, and then like what's the next step? Like, I don't know, what's the next question? Let me throw the ball back to you. Actually,
okay, okay.
let you guide the
So
interview.
So basically, the next question was like just related to this. Uh, but if brothers are now like sometimes what happens with brothers, they want to push everything. Like alhamdulillah, the work is coming. They found whatever they're doing. Things are flowing. Where do they go to get this done? Do they go to their local imam? Like for example, I know a revert brother. I'm not gonna name his name because this might go up, but he goes to the certain masjid and he's very tight with every single imam. I took him to Cooper's. Imam Nafis to there. I took him to so many masjids, and this guy knows so many people all around. But if he comes up to like a conclusion that obviously everybody wants to get married, but what's the avenue? Where do they go? Do they go to Minder, Tinder? Do they go to do they go to like I sent you the message the other day? Do they go to Instagram DMs? What's the avenue? What's the way out?
Let's break it down to two parts. So if you have like, a Muslim is wise, right? A
yes,
Muslim is practical. A Muslim is wise. A Muslim is emotional. You have to put everything. You have to line your like, if we plan for university, you do all your research, and you look at all the programs, and you do, why? Because it's a 4-year thing.
oh yeah,
4 years, right? 5 years max. 8 years if you're going into med school, but not 10 years. If you're doing all that planning for a small portion of your life, right? Then how much planning are we actually doing for for somebody who you're going to spend the rest of your life with, and eternity? Because we ask Jannah, right? We ask to be in Jannah with our counterpart. So
yes,
somebody who has family, parents, sometimes parents are the best avenue, right? Sometimes parents are the best avenue to reach out to other families, or if you're close with, let's say, your mom, then you can talk to your mom, and she understands you. She knows what you want, and she has a good family circle and whatnot. Then you can reach out to your mother or your father, whoever it is. Sometimes it's not a case, right? Like in this case with a revert brother, right? I'm not sure, but I don't know if his parents are also Muslim or not. I'll guide them if they aren't. But in his case, who does he reach out to? He reaches out to people like you, people like me, right?
yes,
Friends, other practicing friends who have social networks, who can say, I know this guy. He's a revert, or he's a good brother. I know him like this, and then we extend these what do you call it? This proposals to people that we know in our circle that are willing to accept um, somebody that we know through our recommendations, right? Because I know that I trust you,
Mhm.
right? And I
Mhm.
trust if you tell me that, Bilal bhai, go to this person and you can buy, I don't know, your meat from this store, I don't know.
Very true.
Uh, it's a bad example, but like, then I would be like, Saad said so, so I'm gonna go try it out. If you say, oh, Bilal bhai, go check out that court. It's a nice basketball
Yeah.
court. You can go there. I'll go check it out. If you say, Bilal bhai, go meet this person. He's a nice person. You can trust him. He's trustworthy and this and that. I would respect that. So I would respect that because I respect you,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
100%.
if we have a brother who is in need, right, of taking the next step in life, a blessed step, which is marriage is a blessed thing, right? It's half your deen,
Yes.
right?
Very
It's
true.
called
Very true.
half your deen for a great, great reason by Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So if we're willing to do that, if we're willing to play a part in completing somebody's deen, let that sink in. You're willing to play a part in helping to complete somebody's deen, then you are doing a great service to that person. You're doing a great service to the deen.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is we need to one step outside our boxes, our selfish selves, and reach out to these people and see where the need is, how we can fulfill that need.
Fulfill
You
that
know.
need. Yeah.
So now that you told me, I feel somewhat responsible for our brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we could do is start the talks. I can see if I can speak to the brother, build some connection with him, and see
Mm-hmm.
who I know in my circle.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to imams. To be honest with you, the avenue that I took personally was the avenue through my parents.
That's yeah.
Um, so basically, what had happened was, um, I gave them the ultimatum. Like, if you don't find me somebody, I'm gonna find someone, and you're not gonna like them. It was kind of like an empty threat. So I was like, Mom, I'm going to university and college. I don't even know who the people I see. If they look a certain way, I'm not judging, but I don't know if they're going to be what you are accepting. So I asked them, I'm like, you can look for somebody, and if I like the way if I like their appearance, right? Why I said appearance, because I know they're looking out for the family stuff and they're looking out for the deen.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you got that covered, let me see the person. If the person's beautiful, I'm like, Bismillah, let's go
Yeah.
ahead with this. So in this case, if, if there are family members, if this brother has, let's say, let's put the River brother, we can help them. The community has to help them because we are responsible for them,
Yes. Yes.
right?
You're very right.
The responsibility comes on us,
Yes.
right? Because the deen is perfect, right? They accepted the deen. They have no doubt in the deen. That's why they chose to leave their previous religion, and in some cases, many of the River brothers and sisters, they even leave their families
Yes.
because those families become hostile towards them.
Yeah.
So who is their family by default? It's us. It's me and you.
They are
It's not
family.
that third or fourth guy on the street. Oh no,
Not at all.
the masjid's gonna take care of them.
Exactly.
Or, oh no, brother, this guy is gonna take care of them. It's a great brother, mashallah. No, no, no. It's me and you, right? So we look out for this brother, and for the brothers who are born into families who are supportive of them, and these brothers are contributing in their own families prior to the marriage proposal given out. Then reach out to your sister. If they have
Mm-hmm.
a sister in the home, then and they can trust them, an older sister, perhaps a sister who's responsible. She can do that work for them. Continue to make that dua, right? Do not underestimate the power of dua. Talk to friends who are like-minded. See if they can do something for you, right? And all of this, don't forget that you have to constantly, on a daily basis, right? On a daily basis, but this is the plane, right? So if on a daily basis, this plane has to climb towards the what do you call it, the pleasure of Allah, right? So even if this plane is climbing towards the pleasure of Allah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and somehow things don't go their way, right?
Yeah.
It's still climbing.
Alhamdulillah.
Right? It's still climbing. It has no other way to go. So if, let's say, you're climbing, you're going towards the pleasure of Allah, you ask your sister, like, get out of here, what's wrong with you? Want to get married? Dude, you gotta do your master's, you gotta get a home, you gotta get a car. Before that, let's not talk about that. And you're like, oh my God, I thought my sister's gonna be on that side. Or the mom says that, or dad says that. Well, guess what? You're climbing towards
Pleasure. The pleasure
Allah,
of
right?
Allah.
To the pleasure of Allah,
Yeah.
right? So if these people that you've put your trust in and you ask them sincerely, you ask them gently, you ask them, like you put all your hope in them, right? You did your part. Now guess what? You were already asking Allah, and Allah said, you have to ask the people around you, the people that you trust. If that didn't work, guess what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will
Allah
answer
subhanahu wa
because He
ta'ala.
knows you're desperate. He knows you're
Yes.
desperate. He knows you want it. And there's nothing wrong with being desperate for the halal.
Yes.
Like you see from Musa alayhi salam how he made the dua, right, in Surah Qasas, that فقال ربي, I forgot the dua, but it's like he's asking dua Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to provide for him risk, because when he killed the man and he fled, that even blah, blah, I even think like coming to the last question, it's like like if the brothers they like I think so you probably even heard it with Mufti Menk. He had a podcast. He said that he went through 20 proposals and he got rejected by all 20, and the 21st one he got married. Yeah, so the rejections are obviously, I don't want to, and we don't want to paint like a picture that they're gonna seek marriage, or like even the brothers that are like were born Muslims, or the brothers that reverted, like we're gonna go through this journey, everything's gonna be smooth and everything. There are gonna be bumps, like there will be even sometimes
There's gonna
rejections.
be obstacle again. That which is why I said the previous thing, right? So sometimes what happens is for the ones who come into the Deen, right? So for the brothers like myself, like I wasn't on the Deen before,
Yes.
and I came on Deen. I thought that the moment I come on Deen, bro, it's gonna be gold falling down. I'm gonna get like I ask for it and I get it. Now, you like you hear and you obey, and then you say it's and it's like you hear and you obey, but also you feel like you ask and you get. It doesn't work like that. For some it does, mind you that for some it does work.
Yeah.
Like for some people the power of their dua is so beautiful. By these people, may Allah bless them, may Allah give us a piece,
Ameen,
just a
ameen.
fraction of what these people enjoy. But they ask and they get. But for others, they ask and they wait, and they ask, and then the plane still goes towards the pleasure of Allah. And this is the journey of a righteous brother, right? Of a righteous sister, that they are constantly working towards pleasing Allah, and then they are logical, they're practical, right? We're not emotional to the point where we let our emotions delude practicality. Now, if you don't have a job, right, you can still look for families. There are tons of families out there that are willing to give their daughter, right, or allow their son to get married to somebody who is in university, college, respected family, who has a goal and all that, and doesn't have a job. There are families out there, okay? But if you don't have a job, this is from a father now, okay? So I'm going to put the friendship aside. We speak as a father now. If you don't have a job, if you don't have enough savings, if you haven't fixed your character, if you haven't fixed your, or at least embarked on the journey of managing your anger, if you haven't embarked on the journey of managing the relationships around you, right? Then adding another person into your life is dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm talking to brothers right now, right? It's very dangerous because yes, you are a practicing Muslim. There's lots of practicing Muslims out there, right? But are you a practical Muslim, right? So practicing is good, right? But you gotta be practical, right? So I got married, alhamdulillah, a while ago, right, alhamdulillah. But I asked somebody close to me, and I said, "Listen, man, actually, this might tie into our conversation, actually, because I was the ones there. I mean, I'm trying to like beat around the bush, but I could just use my example, right?" So I asked them, I'm like, "Listen, man, I'm ready. I have a job now, alhamdulillah. I'm done university, and my relationship with my parents is improving. I did that. Like, what do I do? He's like, what about Salah? And I'm like, no, I got, alhamdulillah, like, I'm working on that too. Everything's good, everything's good. He's okay. I'm like, but give me something like practical. He's like, okay, like to the T. Like, I'm like, yeah. He's okay. Listen, I'm going to give you some advice. So he told me, he's like, how are you financially? I'm like, yeah, actually. He's like, okay, listen. I'm like, if I was to ask you, I asked my friend, if I was to ask you, how much money do I need to save up prior to getting married? And then he gave me a figure, right? He gave me a number. he's like, before this, don't even ask your parents. He's like, for the next year or so, or like a few months, don't even ask your parents about marriage. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. I'm like, why? He's like, listen, man. And his brother was married. He's like, as a married person, no father would give their daughter if you're not able to keep them happy and like fulfilled and sustained for at least a few months to a year, right? If you don't have
Yeah.
enough savings, like fallback, right? Because living in these times, you can lose your job, and everybody knows due to COVID, people lost their
I
jobs,
lost my
right?
job too.
Yeah, Allah replaced it with much better,
I
something
mean, I
much
mean,
better.
I mean,
So, and even though the government is supportive of this, but that's not a life to live, right? You wanna be a man of your efforts. So I thought that was very practical because he
Yeah.
gave me like a money goal to think of. So what I started doing was I started saving up, saving up, saving up. And when I went back to my parents now this time and I said, Amiabu, come on, like I'm ready. And they're like, you know what, we noticed, we noticed you change, we noticed you become more polite, we noticed, this and that.
they
So
notice the behavior and everything. Yeah,
we
and
noticed the
also
changes,
the
right?
yeah.
And mind you, I had been practicing pri- since I had that rash interaction with my parents. I'm like, oh, I want to get married, like, you don't understand this now there. But I was like, look at you, what are you talking about, you know? So it had been it had been a very long time that had passed, but
Mashallah.
the change that took place between then and now was I was emotional then, right? I was still practicing, I was still going towards
The
the
pleasure
pleasure
of
of
Allah.
Allah, right? So
Mm.
the pleasure of Allah, I was still seeking it, but the methods were not right. I was rash, I was rude. I was, to the ones. So fix the relation with your parents, fix your relation with Allah, fix your relation, start saving up money. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
it's not all roses, man. The first year, if you can survive the first 1 to 2 years of your marriage, inshallah, this is a great indicator. And when I say that, I mean, like, because first year you will have first 3 months is honeymoon phase. Everybody knows about that beautiful honeymoon phase, right? Everything's amazing. You're going out, and like some people even travel and they do all these
Yeah.
amazing, beautiful things, right? But when it hits, is when you realize that wait a minute, it's been 6 months and it's the same person. Now you start seeing all the weird stuff, you know
The hair in the sink.
that's it, they're in the sink, and like start seeing all these weird things, right? And then you realize, wait a minute, is this person clean? Is this person generous? Is this person polite? Is this what this person actually is, right?
Is yeah.
So a lot of the brothers need to do a self-assessment, man.
Allah.
We
Right.
need to do a self-assessment because, bro, um 15 years from now, I ain't giving you my daughter if you're hurting them,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know
Very true.
sometimes we get hasty with what we want, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also think on the other side that you want something, right? But also think about the one who has to give it to you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Right? So if you want this sister in marriage, inshallah, to the halal way, but the father and the mother, the family has to 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 give a part of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the part to
Part
you,
of them.
right?
Uh,
So how would you treat it? So that's something that
Yeah.
but what about for those people that parents don't cooperate with them, and then okay, for example, now they wanna try to take things at their own hands. So this brother was messaging me, and he was like, I've been asking Allah. He was at college. He wasn't at university. He was saying I've been asking Allah, and he's telling me these dramatic stuff. Sometimes I don't really process them, but like, yani, I'll listen to the
it's
brother
okay.
because
Yeah.
we have to have manners with each other, right? Patient, especially being patient with one another. So he was telling me that there's this one sister. He sees her and like she wears the whole abaya and whatever, but in Sheridan it's not normal because majority he went to Davis, so Davis is a brown town,
Yeah, I did too, man. I did too. I know the struggle.
so so he's telling me like it really stands out, and he's on his Deen too, alhamdulillah, he's a good brother. But he's telling me, like sometimes, once he made dua to Allah, he said, Ya Allah, like, give him the courage to, just, speak to her. So he was telling me he wants to write a letter. In a letter, he's basically asking her, her mother's number or her father's number, and then he gives just the letter to her and he leaves. I'm like, I told him that might be sometimes, that she may take the letter, rip it out.
Troll.
Allahu alam, Allahu alam. But I see,
Trolling.
I see the good in him. Like he doesn't want to just fall into wrong things, right? But
Yeah.
what's your take on those people? Like, okay, their parents are totally not cooperating with them and
Are not cooperating.
not cooperating. Should they take things like this to their matters? Like, okay, now they see someone. Should they take it matters to their own hand? Would they approach her by herself, or they still go to, like I told, like we talked about, like a guardian, like an imam or someone, a leader of the community, like yourself, mashallah, as a counselor, teacher, and mashallah.
So we got to be careful with this one because this is where you're taking matters into your own hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I understand, right? I understand the situation. However, at the end of let's say the letter was given, right? He wrote the letter, he gave it to her.
Yeah.
Let's say everything goes well, she's like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Like,
Bollywood style.
like what amazing akhlaq, like he didn't even want to talk to me. He just gave me the letter and walked away. Now we can't doubt the intention of this brother, because he is seeking something good, right? Halal, but again, practical, right? Gotta be practical. Yes. So we have to weigh out the consequences. So if I don't know, at the end of the day, the parents have to talk.
Very true.
So whether you give her the letter or not, the parents still have to get involved. So you have to get somebody on your side from the home, whether it's an older sibling, whether it's your mom or your dad, either somebody, like one person from the family, be on your side, and you have to work on that. Or if it's an older sibling, get them on your side. Once you get one person on your side, who your parents trust, right? It could be like a beautiful example, an imam. If your mom or dad are connected to a social network where they trust that social network more than you, then you find somebody that they are connected to and be like, that, and they will trust you too, and they know you, they know your akhlaq, So what happens is your job is being done not by you, because oftentimes the most difficult people to convince is your family, because they know you like inside out. They know that, okay, when you go outside, you're like, mashallah, amazing brother, mashallah, people are hugging you, but they're like, when you come home, they know the real you, right?
Yes,
they know the real you. They know what ticks you. They know when they know when you slam the door on their face.
They know the holes in the wall.
They know, oh my God, the hole in the wall, right? And the amount of picture frames I had to put up to hide them. My wife is gonna kill me for this, but yeah. But no, but that's the real thing. You gotta get. Yeah. I think that's the more practical way to do it, to get somebody on your side. And sometimes the people we see in the community that look a certain way, and because I mean, it's just one layer, right? If you see this, I saw somebody as well when I was in college, and I thought I just saw them, right? I didn't talk to them. I didn't know what program. I didn't know anything about them. It's just somebody I saw. And I made dua, I'm like, oh Allah, if this person is good for me, and I actually spoke to my friend. He was a non-Muslim friend. He's like, bro, why do you think so much? Just go approach her. I'm like, dude, it's not like back in the day, man. I'm a different person. I can't just go approach nobody, It was like haram, like I was trying to tell him about Deen. I gave him dawah too a little bit. I love that guy. Good brother. So what do we do? Like, and I told my mom. That's when I went to my mom. Like, Mom, I saw somebody. Like it's about to go down. She's like, oh, don't do that. I'm like, no. Then you find me somebody, and then So like I gave them empty threats, and they did help me out.
Yeah.
But so for this person, he has to get somebody on board.
Yeah, and even even with your point ties exactly even with the reverts. Like if it's a revert brother, then he should, if his parents obviously I know like a couple of reverted brothers, but some of them may be from a Christian background, but one is very unique. He's from a Sikh background. I think you know him. So with him it's very difficult because his family is very stern when it comes to Islam. So with him, I told him this advice too, we have to get to know locals in the community, right? Whether it can be a brother, whether it can be imam, whether it be another brother. Like I told them about you, mashallah. I said that Bilal Bhai, mashallah, and what he's doing in Risala with the students there. I told him like the way you teach and everything, you know, because you sent me videos. I remember back in the day, like, you know, you're teaching the class, you're playing a video, whatever.
Yeah,
So, and I was telling him how beautiful of a connection he has, and I even told you that day, you know, when we were playing basketball, you told me. So I remember you got me to the corner and you told me this. He's like, "Hey, Saad, when you want to get married, if you want to get married, let me know, bro." You know, just to build their morale high, because alhamdulillah, there's people in the community that do care about you at the end of the day. You know, it's not like only you shouldn't be stressing out. I feel like too much. You know, there's a way you can do it. You just gotta fix up, like you said, you gotta fix up the main fundamental things you're at.
Yeah, fundamental things. And also, like, think about this, right? When it comes to like when we do so much work, I don't know the train of thought. I lost my train of thought. But let's say I give this person's name, and I say, oh, I know this person, right? Let's say I know the family of the girl or whatever, right? And I say, I know this person, amazing guy, blah blah blah.
Amazing guy.
You know, and then they go like, wait, how long do you know them for? I'm like, oh no, I just know them, you know. So, and they're like, oh no, but you just know them, but like, do you know like what they're like? And so what happens is, if I don't know the person very well, right, and if I reach out to a family and I say, you know, but versus if somebody that knows that person very well, knows him for a few years, and alhamdulillah, I had the opportunity to do this for somebody that you know, he's happily married for numerous years now, and it worked out well. And the family reached out to me. They said, "How long do you know them for?" I'm like, "Wow, actually, I have even had the opportunity when this person, you know, something happened in this person's life and they weren't able to have a home. So like we offered space for this person to live in our home, and so I'm like, oh, I know them to that extent, you know."
Yeah, mashallah.
So and then they're like, oh wow, so you know them, you're like, you know that person, you know. So then it becomes easier for you to convince the family that you know that this person that you're recommending is the best bet that you can make. Although it's not betting, right? But you get the idea. This is the best. Like after that, you can only know somebody so much, right? And other than that, it's up to Allah, right? You know, even me, I didn't know myself until I got married. I knew a part of me when I became more practicing. I understood myself. I knew another part of me when I became closer to Allah. I knew another part of me when I became married. When I got married, right? So you learn different things about yourself. And dude, I'm sure you learned something new about yourself when you were on the court.
Yeah.
That you are a trash talker, or you're not a trash talker. You are like, do you take criticism, you know, in a nice way or not? So we learn different things about ourselves in different situations.
Jazakallah for all this, because Bilal Bhai, I feel like all the advice you gave today was very practical, because the thing is, this is something which is through experience and obviously knowledge, and and first of all, the most important thing is you actually have done it. For me, I can give the best example for myself. Brothers ask me this, I can tell them these things, but it's not any substance, because the thing is, at the end of the day, they'll see, what are you? Not currently, I don't even have a job, I'm not even married yet, and all that. So they'll be like, okay, there's the fact is, yeah, inshallah. But I feel like the fact is, bro, like these also, they cater to your advice, because like even I was looking at prophets like, you know, Saleh, Hud, they had substance when they gave their da'wah to their people, because they actually were from their people and they did the same exact things, you know, their people were doing, like build the tall buildings, whatever. So it's like same thing with you, mashallah, like, you know, like you have the experience, so it's like, yeah.
If I can give last two parting advice. I know it's been some time, so but this is very important, and it's not like, may Allah forgive me, like I forgot this, but I'm happy I remembered. So two things, right? One is, if people do not know what istikhara is, right, then educate yourself on it. It's praying two rakats, 2 units of prayer, and then you read this dua that it's prescribed by Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He used to teach this to the companions, right? And the companions, mashallah, like there are narrations that they would even do istikhara to decide between like shoes, or like, you know, a shoelace or something, you know, like something so simple. Subhanallah. So why not do it for something? So if you see something that you like, that you think you want to approach them, or in a right way, like in the proper way, using the right channels, then in the nighttime when you feel really strong about the situation, pray 2 rak'ah, right? Read that dua of istikhara, right? And ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's one. It's very important. And the second one is start developing your thoughts on how will you serve the Deen through this marriage.
Very true.
Because
Very
a lot
true.
of times we want the marriage because we want it, right? But okay, like after the honeymoon phase is gone, after all those things are gone, how are you willing to serve the Deen together? And these thoughts have to start before you get married, not after you get married.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to start thinking about how, inshallah, along with your wife, are you willing to serve the Deen, serve the community? Wow, amazing! Like, think about this. These two people get, inshallah, like you get married, bro. Inshallah, very soon,
Inshallah.
may Allah grant you a beautiful, righteous, a wife, and the one that not only takes care of you but takes care of your parents and your family, and you take care of her parents and her family. Well, think about this just for a moment. Just imagine with me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you what you are asking for. It's right here, right?
Yeah.
Something that you're doing is stopping it from coming. It could be the anger, it could be the disrespect, it could be whatever it is, right? It could be some haram thing that you're doing. The moment you let go of that sin, boom, you get that dua answered right away. And then the life starts changing. Your mom is okay, let's move the talks ahead. Let's start talking to the family. Let's start doing this. Before you get married, honeymoon phase goes away. Whoa, what do I do now? Right?
Yeah.
So it cannot just be a selfish thing where you just want to get married because you want to fulfill your desires in that way. It's good, right? That's the right thing to do. But as a Muslim, our thoughts need to be elevated. If we don't, because we say, Rasulullah don't ask for Jannah. He said, ask for Jannah al-Firdaus al-A'la. Right?
Yeah.
So don't ask for marriage. Ask for the most beautiful marriage that will serve the Deen and serve the community and improve lives, man. Yeah. Think about that. Think about, you are getting married. Sure, that's fulfilled. Your desire is fulfilled. Alhamdulillah. But imagine if this marriage becomes a monumental marriage in the community where you leave a legacy behind that these two people that got married, they are not only serving the Deen, they're serving the community, Muslims and non-Muslims alike, and they have done something, they've left something behind for others to look back to.
Allahu Akbar.
So this is something that I wanted to leave by istikhara and think about, the what type of service, what type of service. And inshallah, bro, all these brothers that are seeking marriage in the right way, inshallah, may Allah, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through his most beautiful names, all of the names that we know of, that he give these brothers and these sisters what they ask for in the best way possible, and he envelopes them in his mercy, and he gives them all the good and the khair, and leave out all the bad, and allow them to understand that life is steps, right? Steps towards a bigger goal, right?
Yes.
It's not, we don't teleport. In some unless I don't want to name it, but some people believe that it happens. Okay, let's not talk about that. But practical Muslims, we don't believe in that, so we need to take steps, right? Yeah. So take the steps, take your journey towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will if you remembered anything, remember the last part of this conversation, inshallah.
And Jazakallah khair so much.
Us for anything we said that was wrong, and subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Jazakallah khair, man. Thank you.